The heat of the fire was unbearable, a roaring inferno that promised to consume everything. At its edge stood a human mechanic. His face gleamed watching a dragon hatchling cry. Its small body, covered in blackened scales, struggled against the waves of heat. Smoke choked the air, burning his lungs, but the mechanic didn't hesitate. In a heartbeat, he leaped into the flames. This tiny creature had been abandoned, found weeks earlier, alone and vulnerable after its parents were lost in a brutal battle. A team of workers, knowing nothing about dragons, had taken it in. They tried to care for it, but they couldn't understand its needs. It cried constantly, its wails growing more desperate as the workshop fire now threatened to swallow it whole. Temekanik, a man named Raul, was just a simple worker. He wasn't a soldier or a hero. His days were spent fixing machines, welding parts, and keeping engines running. But when he heard the hatchling's piercing cries, something inside him snapped. This small, helpless being needed him. Ignoring the shouts of his co-workers, he ran toward the fire. The flames were intense, a wall of pure destruction, but Raul didn't care. He knew he was the only one who could help. The hatchling's cry wasn't just a sound. It was a plea from a creature that had been abandoned and left to die. Raul finally reached the dragon. He wrapped his arms around its fragile body and turned back, carrying it through the inferno. The heat seared his skin. His clothes caught fire, but he held on tight. In his arms, the hatchling stopped crying. It squirmed for a moment, then went still, feeling safe for the first time. Raul stumbled out of the flames, his body scorched, but the dragon was alive. The other workers stared in stunned silence. They had never seen a human take such a risk for a creature they considered a monster. Dragons had always been feared, hunted, and avoided symbols of destruction, not objects of compassion. He collapsed to the ground, his breathing shallow, and carefully placed the dragon down. The hatchling looked up at him with wide, confused eyes. It didn't understand why this human had saved it, but it felt the raw care in his actions. In the weeks that followed, Raul nursed the hatchling back to health. He gently cleaned its wounds, repaired its scorched wings with makeshift splints, and figured out what it needed to eat. Slowly, the little dragon began to trust him, following him around the workshop like a shadow. It no longer cried. It had found a new family, a new bond. Word of the mechanic who saved a dragon spread like wildfire. People traveled from all over, driven by a mix of fear and curiosity. They wanted to see the man who defied flames to save a creature they were taught to hate. Some called him a fool. Others called him a hero. As the hatchling grew, their unique connection became undeniable. The dragon didn't just survive. It thrived, all thanks to Raul's courage and kindness. He never sought recognition or glory. All he wanted was to see the dragon live and grow strong. Over time, the growing dragon became a protector of the community, no longer seen as a threat. And Raul, he remained the humble mechanic, the man who once leapt into a fire for a crying baby dragon. His story became a legend. It wasn't just about saving a dragon. It was about the power of one person's choice to act with compassion in the face of fear, to save a life that everyone else had given up on. A simple mechanic became a symbol of hope, and the dragon that once cried for help would never have to cry again. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more.